Hey kids, what's happening? Swiveling around? I got myself a new office chair in the man cave. Actually, it's not a new chair. It is my old computer chair, and the cushion's all flattened out, and it's kind of listing over to the side. I had this one for many years, and just recently bought a new one, so I pulled this one out to the man cave, and it's still okay. It's not the most comfortable thing, but it works out here. So what's happening, my friends? You know, I was reminiscing again about my travels on the scooter, and you know, finding my way from one place to the other. For many years, I never even had a cell phone. No. The only way I could communicate was to find a payphone somewhere. So, you know, I didn't have a GPS system or a navigation system or anything like that to go by. I just carried a paper map with me, and I could stop, look at the map, check out a couple routes. Okay, I need to go, you know, so many miles on this, and then this is the exit I want, or this is the road I need to turn on. And I would just go, and very rarely did I ever get lost. I always was able to find my way very well. I have a pretty good instinct of where north, south, east, and west are, and that really helps to, you know, find your direction, know where you're going. But I was reminiscing about a trip that I took to Laconia, New Hampshire, to the motorcycle rally there. And this is quite a few years ago, but I took my map and I made my way out there. Beautiful country through Vermont and New Hampshire, and that really pretty. And found the place, which what is it, Lake Winnipesaukee. But as I came into Laconia, it wasn't what I expected at all. Now, I don't know how many of you have been there, and you've seen some of my other videos where I call it a rub fest or a yuppie fest. It's just a terminology for, it's not your old school biker kind of a rally. It's more of a very modern, different level of people, I guess you would say. It was real small. The main strip there in town was very small. I don't know what it's like today because I haven't been back, but this was a few years back. And I kind of rode up and down the strip there, and I thought, this is it? You know, so I parked my bike and I walked around a little bit, and there wasn't really a whole lot to see there. There was a lake there, and I think there was a train there, and like a boardwalk you could go out on, and then there was the main drag with some shops and some maybe I think there was like 2 bars or saloons there at the time, which were more like steakhouses or something. They weren't like your typical, you know, I mean, I'm looking for like Broken Spoke Saloon and the Full Throttle, and there wasn't nothing there like that. So I was kind of disturbed in a way, and I thought, am I in the right place? Well, I made my way down to the end of the strip and back, and there was a tent there that was the Hells Angels. And so I thought, well, I'll check it out while I'm here, you know. It was kind of out on the street. It was one of these canopy things with their banner hanging up there, and it said support items for sale. So I walked in there, and there was 2 bikers in there drinking beer from a keg, and they had their t-shirts laid out on the table and some hats. And I was, right away, the prices were like, I'm not going to pay $45 for a t-shirt. I'm sorry. And so one of the guys there said something to the effect of, if you're not going to buy anything, get the F out of here. And I just turned around and walked out. You know, I thought, okay, you know, you're not going to twist my arm into buying something out of intimidation. I don't need your t-shirt that bad. And they weren't even really that cool of shirts anyways. I don't remember what they were, but other than that, there wasn't anything for me to do there. I'm walking around like lost. So I go down to the end of the street, and there was a little, like, I don't know if it was like a diner ice cream stand or something, and I went and bought a little cup of ice cream. And I sat down at an outside table, and there was another guy that came walking up, and I said, "Hey, where do you stay around here? Is there any campgrounds or anything?" And he goes, "No, there's no campgrounds around here, anywhere close anyway." And he said, "I had to spend the night under a semi-trailer." He said, "and I rolled out my sleeping bag and slept under this semi-trailer." And he said, "In the morning, the cops came and threatened to give me a citation for vagrancy, and they told me to pack up and get out." So he said, I had to move pretty quick there. So I was like, oh my gosh. I said, "What about hotels or anything?" And he says, "Oh man, they're all booked up. Good luck with that. You're not going to find a place to stay. You're kind of on your own." He said, "Good luck." So I didn't know where to go from there. I was kind of despondent then, thinking, well, what do I do? Turn around and leave and head back home? Because I got to stay somewhere. I thought, well, maybe I'll go out of town, see if I can find some place just to pull off in the woods or something, and put up a place to sleep for the night, put up my tent or whatever. Well, I'm sitting there, and this guy comes up, and he goes, "You mind if I sit down with you for a minute and share a table?" And I think he was eating some ice cream or something too, or drinking a milkshake or something. I said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." He said, "Where are you from?" And I told him I wrote in from Ohio. I don't remember where he said he was from. But then he asked me, he said, "Where are you staying?" And I said, "I've got no place to stay." And I said, "From what I hear, there's no place to stay around here. And I don't know what to do." And he said, "Well, let me tell you something. I might be able to help you." I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "You ever hear of the CMA?" "Yeah, I've heard of it. That's the Christian Motorcycle Association. It's a club. You'll see guys wearing their CMA vests, usually at a lot of functions. They're a pretty big organization." I said, "Yeah, I've heard of the CMA." I said, "Well, they're stationed a couple blocks down in a church, in the basement of the Methodist church. Go down there and go down in the basement there and ask for, I can't remember the guy's name, but he said ask for Joe or whatever, and tell him that I sent you." "Okay, I'll do that." So I finished up my ice cream, got on my scooter, and I rode down a few blocks, and I found the Methodist church. And sure enough, there was a sign over the basement door that said CMA. So I went down there, and they had tables set up down there, and they were serving some light food, snacks, and stuffed bags of chips or whatever they were handing out. And they said, "Can we help you?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking for this Joe." And they said, "All right, well, have a seat over there, and he'll be with you in just a little bit." Well, it wasn't long before this big old burly biker came over, and I guess he was a pastor. And he had me sit down at this table, and he said, "What can I do for you, son?" And I said, "Well, they sent me down here because I got no place to stay, and said maybe you guys could help me." And they said, "Oh, is that right?" So they wanted to know who I was. So a couple other guys came over and sat down, and they interrogated me pretty good. "Where are you from? Who you here with?" "I'm not here with anybody. I'm all by myself. I just came to Laconia to check it out, and now I'm kind of like stuck in a rut. I don't know where to go, and I've got nobody to go to." So he said, "Well, I'll tell you what." He said, "We actually have a camp about 7 miles north of town here. And Bill over here on this Honda, he's got a big yellow Honda, and he's going to be leaving in about 15 minutes, and he's going to head up there. And if you want, you can follow Bill, and he'll take you up there, and we'll let you stay in our CMA camp." I was elated. I had a place to stay. So I kind of hung around there, and they were very friendly, very cordial to me. And Bill finally said, "Well, you ready to roll?" And yeah. So we saddled up, and we rode about 7 miles north, and came on this private property, and rolled up in the driveway there. And in the back of the guy's property, he had this beautiful camp. I mean, he had campsites with electric and water hookups. There was a big barn, pole barn-like thing there, and they welcomed me in. They said, "Now here's the deal. There's showers inside the barn there. There's bathrooms inside the barn. There's a refrigerator full of food. There's pop. There's cupboards full of food. Whatever you want is yours. You just make yourself at home, whatever you want. Our stuff is your stuff." They said, "We're going to have prayers in the morning if you want to join us. We eat lunch around noon if you want to join us. We have a little Bible study and a devotion, things like that." So I was pretty honored, that they would do that for me. And I found a real nice campsite. There was nobody else around me. It was all by myself. I set up my tent, rolled out my sleeping bag, had a good place to sleep. I went over to the barn and I met a few people, and I think I had a donut there with them or something. And I don't remember going to any of their church services or anything like that, but I did use their facilities. And then I was able to leave there and ride back into Laconia and find they had a motorcycle dealership there that had an event going on with free food and stuff. So I went over there and got a good lunch. I think they had pulled pork sandwiches and a bunch of other stuff. And it was pretty good. But it was wonderful to have people like that to take care of me and to help me through that experience of being all by yourself and having nowhere to go. It doesn't always work out like you think it's going to. That was my story of my ride to Laconia. I don't think I'm ever going to go back there again. It just wasn't my cup of tea. The scenery was beautiful. It's a nice place, but that rally in particular did not trip my trigger, so to speak. I got more where that came from. Till next time, cats. Thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down if you don't like me. Anyway, you're watching my video, so you're giving me a view. I'm happy with that. I like the haters too. Leave comments below. I'm eager to engage you. Share it with your friends, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. Catch you later.